Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will be tackling our first DIY. I guess I've never actually done one on this channel. I've mostly just been doing art related things. But this one comes from something I did when I was younger with my grandma. We would make these cage-like structures for like dog fur, cat fur, that sort of thing. And I know you haven't been properly introduced to him yet, but my cat has long fur, which means whenever I brush him, I get a lot of fur, and so I'd like to give that to the birds to make their nests all nice. So this video is basically me trying to remember how to do it. And let's just say, out of the 3 attempts I did, none of them turned out good. So first what I did was blow up the balloons to be kind of small, but how big I wanted them to be when I was making the cage-like structure. I don't really know what to call it, I'll figure it out. But so my first attempt, I just put all the twine, and the twine was just what we had at the house, so I don't know what it was or where it came from, we just had it. But here I am dipping it in the glue. I used PVA glue because did I use PVA glue? I don't think I did. I think I used Elmer's. Okay, I used Elmer's glue, the normal white glue, and I put the twine in the glue and then wrapped it around the balloon, and then I would let it dry so that it holds its shape, and then you can put the fur between the openings and then the birds can take it. So this is what I did at first, and it didn't really work. There wasn't enough glue. So then I stuck it in the container, which you can see happening now. And then I didn't know how to hang it because I didn't prepare for that, and then all the twine came off because it wasn't holding it. So then I pulled all the twine off to restart. Now I'm putting the balloon in the glue to try and give it more to hold on to, and then I go through the process of rewrapping it, and this attempt did work a bit better, but still not great. And if you're curious, because I did this off camera, I put, as you can see, a paper clip like where you tie the balloon closed, and then I put it on a hanger to dry because I needed it to be basically in the air so that it didn't stick to something. And it worked pretty well. Not the best, but my hands were covered in glue and I was trying to figure out how to hang these. And yeah, as you can see, still fighting with how I want to put the glue on and kind of like keep its structure. If I do this again, since none of these, worked, I'll insert a picture of what the current state of the only surviving one is. I will definitely look up an actual video beforehand, rather than just running off of muscle memory from a project I did at least 10 years ago, maybe, perchance. So here I am preparing to work on the second attempt. Having learned very little from my first attempt, I coated the balloon in glue, stuck the twine in, and then began wrapping it again. This time I was prepared with a paper clip. Had a lot of trouble with my hands and holding it, and I believe this is the one where I didn't have enough twine, so I had to cut more while my hands were covered in glue. Yep, here I am doing that off camera, because I barely had enough to cover it, and then it wouldn't have held its shape. That might have been my issue with these, because I don't know if any of them really had enough twine, because even with the one attempt that somewhat survived, reference to the picture, yeah, they don't really they have like big gaps, and I feel like the ones I remember from my childhood had smaller gaps, and I feel like the twine was thinner, which might have made it easier to work with because it actually would have wanted to stick to itself rather than wanting to unravel at any opportunity. So I guess if I do this again, try thinner twine and more of it. And fell apart rather quickly in the drying process. The pink one from before got knocked over by my cat, hit the carpeted floor, and just crumpled. Yeah, I don't really know how that happened either. And then the first one survived until it had to face the elements of Mother Nature. So this project was definitely a learning curve. 100% need to watch something on how to do this if I ever want to do it again, which I mean I do, because again I do want to repurpose cat fur so the birdies have something for their nests, especially since it gets cold here. Not right now though, we're going through a heat wave. But yeah, this was a fun project for someone who didn't know what they were doing. All in all, it took me about 40 minutes to do all 3 of them, including the time when I was getting up and hanging them to dry and everything, because I had to edit out that for the footage because I just left my camera rolling. And here I am still fighting the twine, except I pulled it out of frame in typical me fashion. Maybe one day I'll learn. I'm sure it would help to have a viewfinder, but alas, cell phone footage is the way we work at this point in time. And speaking, I guess, of work, I did just want to mention this. If you're someone who's been missing the digital art and anything related to it, my Apple Pencil did officially die. In like my very early videos, you hear me talking about it, but at this time it actually is like not working. I thought I fixed it, and then I guess not. So that is why there hasn't been any digital art videos. I do have a couple, many, that I want to work on, so hopefully I can get that replaced soon and I'll be back with the footage. So here the dried bird fur cages are. I still don't know what to call them, but here's all 3 of them. There's that hanger I mentioned, and yeah, the balloon shriveled up. The glue was still keeping the balloon stuck to the twine, and then I just went in with my X-Acto knife and popped them. The most satisfying part, if I'm being honest. But they did kind of hold their shape. The glue was dry, but like they did start to kind of warp. And then there was all those like glue remnants. You can see it on the far left one how much there is. That was the first one, and that is the one that survived. But here's how they turned out. And here I am kind of like cleaning them up and trying to pull the glue out and get the balloon out of there and all those fun cleanup stuff. And yeah, I have a little injury on my finger, courtesy of my little menace of an orange cat who has 1 brain cell. Again, I keep mentioning him. I gotta get working on that intro video. But I hope you enjoyed watching me struggle to make these. It was a fun project, but there was a little chaos involved. But what's a good project without a little chaos? So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the chaos, and I will see you. I don't have the dates memorized, so I will see you in my next upload. Bye!